Welcome to Psych Square. This is a place we talk about mental health and how it impacts on our life. Today, we're going to be talking about trauma and how it impacts on our daily life. My name is Arinze, a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I have been in the space of mental health for more than a decade. So today we are looking at trauma. What is trauma? How does it impact on us? Different kinds of trauma. And above all, what are the things that we need to do to help us heal and get better with trauma? So what is trauma? Trauma is the way, or emotionally, the way we react to a negative things that happen to us. And the negative thing that happened to us could be anything. It could be a war, it could be a car accident, it could be a violent situation. It also, negative things that happens around us can be very traumatic. It can be also about things that happen around our vicinities. Vis-a-vis, trauma can come from emotional neglect. It can also come from our childhood bullying. And we see that a lot in the clinic. Kids having a lot of bullying that is happening and kind of exacerbate them. Trauma can come from a breakup. Husband and wife breaking up. It's impacting on them, and also impacting on the kid who is also there. It's a lot of things that comes with trauma. We can also be going through life stressors. In a different perspective, can be trauma to us. So what we also know that what is traumatic to Mr. A and B might not be to Mr. C and D. So it's sometimes about how they internalize it. But the question is, does it impact on us the same way? No. But the ironic part of it is sometimes some of those trauma, even the ones that we neglect that doesn't feel is very traumatized, sometimes catches up on us as we are getting older. And these are the things I see often in my clinic, where a patient feels, I can't do things I used to do before. I cannot focus. I feel disorganized. I'm not motivated. Things that I used to feel before, very energetic and weak, I'm not. When we start doing the assessment and going down, we can see there's a trauma incident that happened in the past that he has not been able to take care of. So in this case, we bring it up that these things need to be taken care of so that healing will start happening. So how does trauma impact in our life? It shows up in a different way. Sometimes we become so overreacting to things that we shouldn't be overreacting on. Sometimes we struggle in completing things that we should have been completing. Sometimes we cannot sleep because of the traumatic event that we had. Sleep becomes a big thing for us. Sometimes we cannot feel safe. Sometimes we cannot become an introvert because of the trauma. We don't feel safe. We cannot socialize. We cannot go out and be who we are because of the way the trauma has made us to be. Trauma changes a lot, changes our whole being who we are. We cannot socialize, we cannot do stuff, we feel unsafe. Most of the time, with this traumatic event, it does changes who we are. So trauma, no matter how we want to look at it, it's a heavy stuff that we need to look at it very well because it does impact on a lot. But again, there's resources, but we need to recognize it, being able that we need to bring it up to people who can help us with that. Let's look at the different kinds of trauma. So we have acute trauma. Acute trauma most often is related to things that happen immediate, maybe like a car accident. That is an acute trauma in that instant. Then we have chronic trauma. Chronic trauma is when in a chronic nature that in the family, a kid being bullied in school, not only a kid, it happens to adult, happens to anybody, depending on what it is. It can be chronic in nature, but it's constantly happening. So if it's a thing that is constantly happening, yeah, that is a kind of chronic trauma. And when people see that, if you are in a toxic relationship as an adult and there's a lot of traumatic event happening in that toxic relationship, you're going to be traumatized more and more and more. And then we have also trauma, which is more of a complex trauma. So at home, toxic environment, maybe there's a lot of bullying, a lot of father beating mother, a lot of alcoholism, a lot of stuff happening. The kid is already exposed. And then adding that to what the kid is receiving in the public. Maybe he goes to school, he receives some bullying incidents, a lot of things is happening to what he's already happening at home. So it's a lot of complex in the modalities and where things are happening. So this is what we look at it from the complex perspective. So we need a lot of things to do work with the kid to help them feel good. And then we have generational trauma. Generational trauma that does happen. This is more of things that been in the lineage. Sometimes you might see it in a culture, or you might see in a community, things that happen within that community and within that culture that's kind of traumatized a lot of people. Recently, we had the issue of the flooding that happened in Texas. Everybody in that community, of course, is traumatized right away. So that's what we are looking at when we come to generalized trauma. Not all traumas are the same, but the impact can be deep and long lasting if treatment is not done. Can trauma be treated, or can we heal from trauma? Yes, we can. And those are the things that we have ways we can. 5 ways I'm going to mention that is very important that we utilize it in healing from our trauma. One of them is seeking for help, talking to a therapist. We have that. Speaking to a therapist will help you. A therapist who can help you talk about your trauma, help you heal. Remember, there's different approach the therapist may use. He may use EMDR, he may use other approaches that you and her or him feel comfortable that will work for you. So there is treatment. What is that from? First, recognizing and going for help, going for treatment, speaking with somebody, whether your provider, your doctor, somebody in the community, or therapist, which will help you in healing. The second part of it is journaling. Journaling helps us. When you're journaling, it helps us to reflect on what happened and how we can feel good about ourselves, how we can start to develop that mental capacity to start feeling good, to start feeling healthy, to start feeling confident about our situation, the past situation that happened. So journaling is very good. Sometimes we can journal, but if we are still struggling, not able to utilize it in helping ourselves, you can bring it up to your therapist who can help you uplift it and make it good so that you can make use of it very well. Very important. Mindfulness will help process it, feel good, meditate about it, and move on with your life. That is very important to bring it up. And above all, we need to also see things from the perspective that we also need to seek for help. We also need to talk about it. We also need to feel good with ourselves. Remember, when we feel good, people around us feel good. So we should be able to communicate. We should be able to bring these issues that is eating on us, this traumatic event that is there that is eating on us. We need to be able to bring it, incorporate it, and make it good. We can be more positive mindset. So remember, healing is not about erasing the past. It is about feeling good with yourself, feeling good to talk about it, not to be beating yourself, because that's what happens sometimes when we have all these traumatic events. We tend to beat ourselves. So when we start feeling good, we start uplifting ourselves, and we may stop, beating ourselves so much. And we do all this is by acknowledging the event that happened, acknowledging that we need help, acknowledging that we need support, acknowledging that we need to be able to go out, seek for support, talk to a therapist, talk to anybody around us to help us feel good. If you enjoy this video, please give us a thumbs up. If anybody in your community will benefit from this video, you can always share it out to them. But above all, subscribe below if you want to be getting more of our videos. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health.